All right, there we go, everybody, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pastrami Nation. We are the meat of pop culture. My name is Nolan Smith, and joining me today, we have a fun cast of characters. First off, part of our Pastrami Nation podcast crew, we have longtime reviewer, longtime supporter, longtime everything, Daniel Schwartz.
Good to be here.
And then we have one of our recent additions. Please welcome Christian. How are you?
Good, good. How are you guys doing?
Good. And I'm excited for our guest because our guest really isn't a stranger to Pastrami Nation. Because if you've seen like our coverage of the pop culture, Jason Moncon, if you've seen different things, like his name has popped up and his pictures have popped up. So we are excited to have artist Cesar Flores with us today.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, we're excited, man. We're really excited. We're gonna actually jump in and talk about you first before we jump into our Loki-ish type of topics later on. So let's go ahead and jump into. No pressure. You're our main event. So first, can you tell us about yourself, Caesar?
All right. I think I'm 38. Yeah, I'm 38. Artist that just started drawing like maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I drew when I was like younger, and just like every other kid, just drawing things, and then I just gave up on it. And I started selling comic books at Frankenstein's. And while I was there, I got put up next to a bunch of other artists, and I was just selling comic books, but I would always see them draw, so that kind of like kicked like a light up, and I told my wife, "Hey, I want to start drawing again, just to draw," and didn't think it was just gonna get anywhere, just a hobby. And 5 years later, I'm like doing covers for Line Breakers. I have my booth now that I share with my friend. Doesn't have any comic books anymore. It's just artwork that we both do. So, yeah, doing something every day helps out.
No, that's
And
fantastic. And we've seen you at different cons, and I've seen your booth over at Frankenstein's and whatnot. But now you're doing regular covers for Line Breakers for their new
yeah,
series Volkov.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm like super happy that they gave me the opportunity to even do this, or like really appreciate it. I'm glad that they put enough faith in me to get these covers out for them. Um, I also did a cover for Space Adventures, Cosmic Adventures. I'm sorry, for Line
Oh,
Breakers.
the Run the
And
Jewels tribute, right?
yeah, yeah. So that was a cool. I think that was actually my first cover I did ever. And then, so yeah, I'm doing the next 6 issues for Volkov. Issue 1 just came out yesterday, and issue 2, I believe, comes out next month. And I'm still working on the third, and I'm still working on the other issues. But yeah, it's been a fun experience.
Right, I was going to ask you, yeah, tell us about that experience of working with Line Breakers because, of course, Line Breakers for if you're tuning in and you're not sure who Line Breakers, Line Breakers is like the comic shop out here in the high desert.
Yeah.
No, the comic shop, gaming shop, and whatnot. But one thing they were not known for was publishing comics. That's something that was brand new. And you brought up Cosmic Adventures. Cosmic Adventures was their first outing into this. And now, that was, of course, spacefaring adventure. Now, jumping into, monsters and stuff like that. How was the experience working with Line Breakers and doing this cover artwork, which I know is different from, the regular artwork you've been doing?
It was for my first experience. It was really like pleasant, like super. They're really understanding. I never done it. I never done a thing where I had a deadline by someone else. It was always just me doing my own work. So them giving me a deadline was like, okay, now I have to look at things differently. It's not just like, oh, I'll just get to it tomorrow. It's like I have to have this
Right.
done by this time. So it's like back and forth. I'll send them an email, hey, does this look good? And they'll tell me, yeah, I like it, or no, I don't. And then I can't be upset by it. I have to, you know, go about it in a professional way that this is a job. Okay, they're paying me money, so I have to give them what they want. And for the most part, everything has been a pretty good process. Like I'm really enjoying working with him and stuff. I hope every other job I have after this is as good as the one I've been having with them. You know.
They kind of set the bar, and I mean that's you're working with David and Denton and fantastic crew of people over there. So I would expect nothing less for it to be an amazing experience. And like you said, it came out yesterday, right? Volkov.
Yeah, the first issue came out yesterday. Yeah,
Oh, there we
and
go. So
it's a cool story of monster hunters. So if you're into like monsters and hunting them, and it kind of it's like a steampunk type of like theme also. So it's a cool, fun issue. Like can't wait to like read the rest of them and see where the story goes. So and David did a really good like job on the whole book. It was a cool. It's cool to see like because we all talk about, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then we never do it. And actually, seeing David before he started this would tell me, oh, yeah, I want to do a comic book. And anytime someone tells you, they're like, okay, you're right. But he went off and he said, hey, I'm going to do a comic book, and did it, which is awesome. But it gives me like motivation to be like, hey, I want to follow what I'm doing too. So
right. No, that I did pick. I have Volkov. I have it in my stack to read. So I haven't read it yet, but I have marveled at your cover because it's just amazing. It was the first thing I saw from Volkov. It was that awesome cover you did. So
thanks, man. I think I have
very much.
Let's see if I have it here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I would try to jump through my iPad, but I don't have it yet.
Yeah, so this is
There it is.
the first issue.
Look at that. That's so cool, man. I love that you kept it black and white. It keeps it very, very, it gives that horror vibe,
Yeah, and I'm going to try and change up different ones here and there. The second cover is a pretty cool cover. I think if people like classic monsters, they'll really appreciate the second one a lot.
Oh, that's awesome, man. No, that's awesome. Now, I want to ask you something because I know at Frankincense you have a booth. Frankincense, for those of you who don't know, Frankincense is very much like a mini Comic Con. And I imagine you probably have people coming up asking you to sketch certain characters for them. What has been the weirdest request you've gotten?
Some dude asked me to do he asked me to do the villain from what's it called? Incredibles. And I'm like, all right,
okay.
I'm like, okay, I guess I can do it. And I did it. And so normally when I do those sketches, I'm like, okay, this is how much this is gonna cost. I think I charged him like $40 for it, but it didn't have a frame. So he's like, oh, can I get a frame with it? I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem. So I tried to figure out how to get a frame, and I figured it out, but then like the frame was broken, and he ended up like not wanting it anymore. I'm like, all right, I've never drawn this Disney character before, and it'd be different if like he was like, oh yeah, let me get a Joker. I'm like, all right, cool. And if he didn't want it, I could end up selling it. But not
Joker,
that many people.
yeah,
not that many people want. What's it called? The villain from
Syndrome? Is that his name?
Is that his name? The guy with, I guess they're like my
the funny hair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I'm like, so yeah, I think that was like the oddest, not oddest, but like the most recent. Like, oh, okay, I'll do it, and I think I still have it somewhere, but
you got to dig it up one day. Yeah, we got to see it.
I'm all actually.
He's like, wait a sec. And then while you're doing that, Daniel and Christian. So, say you're at Frankensons and you see Caesar right there. Who would be the character you'd be like, you have to draw this one for me? Who would you pick?
Hellboy. I'd ask you to draw me Hellboy. It's always my go-to.
I'd be down with that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Hey, that's good.
Oh, that came out really cool. Wow.
Yeah, that's really good.
That is really
Whoops, I'm pressing out the wrong way.
I'd probably do Venom. That's just kind of been my childhood favorite. It seems like right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it is. Venom and Hellboy. Yeah, those characters I like drawing. Yeah, I still haven't been able to do like a definitive like Hellboy in my style. Um, but I really like Mike Mignola because I'm trying to grab like the aspects from Mignola and like put my spin on it. But it's like not. It's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Like
especially with Mignola stuff. I think people underestimate like his style.
yeah, because it looks like it just these shapes and there's no detail. But
It's
when
so
you look at all,
complex, though.
yeah, when you look at all the shadows, the composition
Mhm.
on how he uses everything, the lighting, you're like, oh, this is a lot
Yeah.
deeper. It's not. Don't get me wrong. Like it's not super detailed, like say Bernie Wrightson or like a Jim Lee, or but it's got its own beauty in its
Yeah.
simple complexity. So
It's very like Art Deco-y almost in the way. I think like him and like Frank Miller, I think in his heyday was like they eliminate like halftone, right? So it's just light and dark. So it's
dark,
like
yeah.
super dramatic. It's gorgeous, you know.
And like his
Huge
watercolor,
visual, yeah.
Magnola's watercolors, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, how do you
gorgeous.
get that? Because I'm still like learning watercolor,
Mhm.
and I'm like, how does he do that? So, but the more and more I'm doing it, the more and more I'm like, oh, this is how he's getting to that color or this type of um, cool, hot temperature with the colors. Because there's always like the way I see it is like there's like really like a cool color and then a hot color that offsets it, or vice versa when it comes to him doing
Mhm.
like Hellboy. So I'm trying to figure those like things out.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
can't wait to
cool.
see what a Hellboy would look like from you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's so like you said, it's hard because you want to keep the Magnola aspects because Magnola, like that is Hellboy. You mean
Yeah,
you see other artists do it and you're like,
I'm not sure about
it,
that one.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I
um,
mean, I think I might work on one tonight actually, and maybe I'll
oh,
post it and see what happens or what comes up.
oh, if you do, please let us know. Yeah, we would love to
yeah.
Oh
check
yeah,
that
we'll
out
do.
and see that.
I'm
That would be
all.
really
I'm
cool.
coming for you. I'm sorry. What was your name again? I'm all. Hey, here's your Hellboy,
Christian, by the way. Yeah,
Christian.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Be like,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
Christian. Here's.
he's gonna be like, yeah, here you
Give
go,
me
no
my
frame.
money.
Come.
Give me my money,
I'm like,
Christian.
can I get a frame with it though?
I'm all. No.
So,
And he just
He
left.
turned off his camera. He's like, I can't.
Screw
oh,
it.
how did I do that? How did I turn it back on?
No, and I'm not even saying, I'm not even saying anything bad about the guy that didn't want to buy it with the frame. But I'm like, oh man, I spent
Right.
like a
It's
couple
a
hours at the booth doing this, and it's not even a character I like. I'll give you a
right.
frame, I promise, dude. I
He's still
promise.
hiding it off the camera. He's like,
I
I'm done.
I
promise I'll
don't
give
know
you a
what
frame.
happened. I think I accidentally pressed something. I don't know how to turn it back on.
It's all good. It's live. It
Yeah,
happens, man. Don't worry.
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone too.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
Oh,
no.
oh,
No,
he's
Nolan's
like
just gone.
he's just gone.
dropping like
Okay.
flies.
All right. Well, Caesar, I do have a question.
What's up?
So like, who would you say are like your biggest inspirations as an artist?
I'm a '90s kid, so I grew up loving Jim Lee. Like that's like
Right.
him and Mark Silvestri are like my go-to. Like, oh, I love their art.
Right.
Um, Bernie Wrightson's up there too.
Mhm.
Been in Brett Booth, like I said, like all these
Oh,
'90s artists. I'm just like, I look at their artwork. I'm like, oh, how do I achieve something like that? How do I do this? But like, yeah, it's pretty Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri that are the ones that I'm like always inspired to. Not because I was a big Jim Lee, like, oh, let me try and draw exactly like Jim Lee. And there's certain times where people are like, oh, hey, Jim Lee Jr. I'm like, ah, which is really
Yeah.
cool. But I'm like,
Right.
okay, I need to kind of try and break away from that. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to get different aspects from all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri that are the ones that I'm like, ah. And I know there's probably a couple other ones. Oh, Will Sportasio also. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Man.
his stuff. I'm like, oh, like his anatomy, the way he breaks down like the body itself. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, all practice stuff. So,
Right. Right. So that also brings me to another question. So, like you said, you've only been doing it for like the last like 5 years. How are you like? Are you just by practice or like by proxy? You're just kind of like
Um,
doing the style that you like, or are you looking up tutorials? Like,
well, at first it was I would watch a channel called VZA. I don't know if you
mhm,
guys have watched that channel before, but he basically just records comic artists at conventions just drawing and have some cool music in the background. You just watch the whole process. So through watching that, I'm like, oh, this is how they kind of achieve it, and then I would kind of mimic that, and then try and like copy the picture and do that over and over and over with like certain things, and after a while, you just get comfortable doing it yourself, And my biggest teacher is probably YouTube on like how to figure out how to get certain things that I want to get good at.
right?
Um, but yeah, it's just drawing every night, figuring out. Like right now, I'm big into trying to learn about my composition and how to make that stronger. How do I make my characters not look so flat?
Mm,
Um, so I'm gonna have a lot more time within the next couple of weeks because I would do it every night when I get home off of work, and I get home like around 10:30, 11, and I'm getting older, so it's getting a little harder to like stay up and be like But I'm gonna be leaving my job within 2 weeks and just doing art full time and just trying to hopefully it's not a mistake. Hopefully I get to the place where I want to get, and hopefully my wife doesn't divorce me after this. So
yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. You're betting on yourself, man. And I know
Yeah.
yeah,
we talked about it a little bit beforehand. You got a really supportive, group of people right there in your
yeah,
corner. And honestly, Caesar, knowing you for the time I've known you, like you got it. What you do and your work and everything, you have it, and it's been catching on. And I think you've seen that too. I think you've seen like
yeah,
things have just been, getting better and better. More opportunities coming up, more and more. So. I think I think you're making the right choice, and I think we're going to see a lot more of you in the coming months and years, and then like years down the road, we're going to be like, I wonder if we can get that Cesar Flores again. We have to go through his agent because you're going to be all.
my wife.
I'll
Well,
be like, so we knew him back then, and she's like, mm-mm.
no, today
She's
he's
like that.
busy.
That meat sandwich people want you on their podcast again. And she's like,
He's like, no. She's like, no. He's busy doing the dishes right now. Come on,
the
5 minutes.
life.
Like, nope. Mop those
No,
floors now.
I totally look forward to what you have coming in your future. I know you made the right decision, and yeah, I know it's scary, but it's the right choice, man. It is.
I appreciate it. Oh, and
Yeah.
before I forget, when you were talking to me, Christian, about or asking me about my biggest inspirations, also, I got super into Berserk. Like, I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
read Berserk, so I just fallen deep into that rabbit hole, and that has, I think, like pushed my art in a different way than I think it ever could.
Right.
After I started doing like big Berserk pieces, people were like, "Oh, shoot, I want to get that," or and it,
I've seen those. They're amazing, and I saw people jump on those posts, and you're like, this one's already sold
yeah, I'm
because
like,
it's Berserk.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, Berserk's been Kintoro. It sucks that he like passed a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I was like, no, no, finish the
Yeah.
story, and then, well, not then die, but I'm like, no, why did you die? You know,
It was such a shock. Yeah, and I mean, Berserk was it is such a big part of manga and anime. Of course, manga more, but it's
Mhm.
such a big part of it. And the story, the character. I mean, that's just
yeah.
amazing. It's just such a cool dark story. Um, but no, I mean, I love seeing your Berserk artwork. I love it when you post
Oh,
it up. But I always find it funny that everybody jumps on there like, oh, how much for this? You're like, sold.
I'm working on this Berserk piece. I don't know
Oh, let's see.
or
Oh, dude.
Nice.
But I have to fix
Sound good.
things like whoops, I'm like touching his crotch. Fix things in like this region because it's a little crooked. But hopefully, I can get this one done soon.
Oh man, that is so cool. Oh well,
Nice.
we look forward to that. We do have a question on here. Well, let's see. Rebecca says hi, and then Flamecaster put, "What character was the most challenging for you to depict?"
Um, as simple as the character is, it's also kind of hard. Is Spider-Man.
I thought so because the webs.
The webs and also like you have to like you can't just put two things and go, hey, there's eyes. You have to make sure it follows the flow of the face. So that one's kind of tricky. Also another tricky one but that I learned really quick was the Batman Who Laughs. That one was like a
Okay.
tricky character at first, but just because he's got thing with
Yeah.
the spikes and you're like, how do I make this look like he's looking at you with no eyes? So that was a tricky one, but I think I've been doing good with Batman Who Laughs, like, or at least executing it as well as I can execute it.
What do you think is most requested, like from you? Like, what character do you get the most? Is it
The
Joker?
Joker,
Batman Who
Batman Who Laughs, Gambit,
Yeah.
Wolverine, like the top five. I don't get as many Batmans as I thought I was gonna get. Batman's also a tricky character to draw because you could either go with like full black or do it like in a Jim Lee-ish way where like you see him like putting up his eyebrows and you're like, do I want to do that? So
I
Batman's
find Batman to be like a lot of fun design wise because like I feel like every time I draw him, it comes out different. Because it
yeah,
might be like Frank Miller, or it might be like the Jim Lee version, or it might be like the weird like Tim Sale stuff. So I don't know. He's like that weird like jewel where he's like a jazz riff that everybody can put their own spin on. So
no, yeah, that's what makes him to me so difficult sometimes because I'm like, I
yeah,
want to make him come out this way, but I'm like, oh, he came out looking this way.
yeah.
I'm like, so
You know, it'd be cool if you could do a Mike Mignola version Batman of the Adam West Batman. Yeah.
well, you're gonna have. So you're challenging me, huh? All right.
Yep.
Challenge accepted. Just remind me
Oh,
that you said that over the message or send me a message tonight. So I'm like, okay, Mike Mignola. Okay,
Adam West
Adam
Batman.
West.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see what I can do. Try and
I can't wait
try
to
and
see
see
what
what I can do
that'll
with
look
that.
like.
And I'll try and throw in Robin and Cesar Romero in there.
Yeah, with his mustache,
You know?
with his painted over mustache.
Yeah.
He has to have the painted over mustache.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, that's great. Caesar. So what's coming up next? I know you're working on the Volkov covers. Anything else coming up? Anything you want to clue us in on?
I'm doing another couple covers for Line Breakers.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm able to talk about them, so I don't want to.
That's okay. Yeah. No. Just we know more is coming.
Yeah, there's a couple more covers coming from them. And also just now, well, like I said, in 2 weeks I'm gonna have hopefully a lot more time on my hands, and it's just basically gonna be like studying my art, what I need to fix, how I need to fix that, doing new pieces for Frankenstein's, trying to work on my sequential work, so that way I can actually do comic book art. And that's about it. It's just and commissions, but so it's just I'm gonna take these first like couple months to not so much produce work, but learn about what I need to fix to be a better artist. So, and then hopefully
Sounds awesome, man.
maybe one day I'll actually be like, hey, a Marvel cover, or I'm doing comic book for Line Breakers, So
Yeah, the whole book. Wouldn't that be awesome?
yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be awesome. And just learning how to, because sequential work is like really hard. Like people are
I
just,
bet.
you're just drawing pictures, and like yeah, but you have to figure out how to get the reader to go from here to here to here to here, and make it entertaining. You're the director. You have a limitless amount of money for props because it just comes from your head.
Yeah.
So how do you translate that onto the paper?
I think that's such a good point to bring because you said you're 38. I think we're this. I was born in 82, right? Like I'm
Yeah, same
assuming
here.
you were too. Yeah.
Same here.
So yeah, growing up in the 90s, like they were the comics in the 90s, like the Jim Lees and the McFarlanes and the Liefelds, all kind of like broke that rule, or like trying to push the boundaries of like sequential storytelling, where it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, here's the thing, I love Jim Lee, but go back and read like volume 2 X-Men #1. It was like unclear, right? Because you'd have like this big splash page of exposition, and you're like, where am I supposed to go, right? And
Yeah.
like, I think there's a beauty in like being restricted. Like you look at like Watchmen and like how Dave Gibbons like just kept everything as a grid. I think like being restricted in that like really kind of allows you to kind of I don't know,
Yeah.
do crazier things with it. So
Yeah, like people sometimes will be like, I like Watchmen, blah, it was boring. I'm like, but if you like read it, and you're like,
amazing.
oh, okay, I see how this is going.
It's a clinic.
And
That's how you
yeah.
tell a story. Yeah.
And with like the Jim Lee, like I get where you're coming from because sometimes that stuff is just like, okay, there's. I think also Chris Claremont, his amount of words in like a story. I'm like, when I was a little kid, I'm like, okay, I don't care. I just
It
want
was
to
a
watch
lot.
the pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, man, there's so much stuff going on, and it was like the image was competing with the artwork, or the artwork was competing with the
story.
word balloons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it shouldn't be competing with each other. It should just all work in one sync. So I think there was too much at one point going on. One I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Rob Liefeld podcast.
Mhm.
Oh, that's like a really good podcast if you're into comic books because he'll talk about those things. And I've learned like so much about Image comic books from the podcast. I'm like, oh, so this is how. Because you always hear one story, well, Rob Liefeld was like this, he was like this, and then you hear it from his viewpoint, and you're like, oh, that's
How
okay.
cool.
Yeah. So you guys check out that podcast too.
That's really
But-
cool.
Definitely.
I mean,
But
like,
listen,
want.
listen to this podcast first,
Yeah.
and then jump on.
Yeah, don't leave us.
Yeah, don't stay here and listen to every new episode, and then after that, go to the Rob Liefeld podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to come off like I don't appreciate Jim Lee. Jim Lee was also
No, I know,
a
I know.
comic book artist too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like, but yeah, I just like going back recently. I'm like, it's like interesting because I
totally get what you're saying. It's like there's so much going on. You're like, do I go over here? Do I go over there? How many freaking how much cross hatching is going on? You're like, it's like too much for your eyes at times, unless you read it like over and over and over. And you're like, oh,
right.
Now, Caesar, where can people follow you on social media, and of course, where can they find you at Frankincense?
On social media, I'm on Instagram. It used to be Fearless Leader Comics when I was like selling comic books, but as I stopped selling the books and was just doing art, I'm like, it sounds really pretentious. I'm like, cool, Fearless Leader Comics. Like, who are you? So I just recently changed it to Art of Caesar, like art _of_ Caesar _ I guess someone took Art of Caesar, jerks. And also at Frankensons, me and my friend Nick Hernandez, we're at booth 601. So if you ever go there, we're right by the bathrooms. Right when you come out, a little bit to the left, that's where our booth is. You can see our art hanging out right outside. So
it's really noticeable. Yes, like you can spot it if you're looking, and you just see all the cool artwork right there. You'll find their booth.
And also, everything's opened back up over there. Like, there's no more lines. It's a free for all.
Oh, thank God.
So,
no waiting 3 hours in the sun just to get in there for 20 minutes.
Last summer, I was like, ooh, I feel bad for everyone over there. Good thing I have a pass.
I waited in there quite a few times, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
But as awesome as
it is,
have you two, Daniel and Christian?
Dude, I was raised there. I've been going there since like 1990. I love Frankincense. Yeah. I
Have
was
you
there
guys
just
been?
on Sunday. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you were at the new spot.
Yeah. Man, I remember that place 2 places before because it used to be off like San Jose,
Yeah.
or like the San Jose exit, and then before that it was off like the Fairway exit, like before that back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's
Like where
crazy.
Carl's Jr.'s at, right? Like a little further
Yeah. If you
down.
go
Yeah.
down that street, yeah, man, it's crazy. Small world. Yeah, I'll definitely look for you next time I'm there.
Yeah. Just
That's cool.
I'll be there. I'll be there pretty much every day, or every day that they're open now.
Cool. I just gave you a follow, by the way.
Oh.
I think is your account private?
Not that I know of. Let me see here.
Oh,
You followed a different Caesar.
I just followed another
Well,
part
you-
of Caesar.
Nah.
That's not you. I don't think that's you. Okay, I'm gonna.
On.
Easy
My
to look
page
for.
What is it?
like that one.
Oh, there we go.
Hold on, let me see.
There's an underscore at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool.
Well, I just followed some other Caesar.
And he's gonna be like, "This
The
is
guy's like,
private."
all right.
He appreciates it.
And Daniel, what about you? Have you been to Frankincense?
Haven't had a chance yet, but now it looks like I got a reason to check it out.
Absolutely.
No, you'll have a good time. Like
Right on.
it's. Well, you've been to a Comic-Con before, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll get used to it really quick. Like the first time I went, I never went to Comic-Con before that, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Right. You're like,
So much. And now I'm like, whatever. Not a big deal. Now when I go to cons, I'm like, I've seen that. Well, there are Frankincense. They're Frankincense too. Hey,
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
it's just a bigger Frankincense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Let me take a moment just to. There's a little ticker going down there on the video. So everybody, if you're watching, leave a comment. You're entered to win. We're giving away 2 food prizes from Apollo Burger in Victorville. So we have a Pastrami Nation combo meal, which the Pastrami Nation sandwich is this massive grilled cheese bunned, amazing sandwich that we're so lucky that they named after us. So you can win a combo meal. And we're also giving away a Chickenator fry. So Chickenator is one of their sandwiches, and they made a fry with the chicken, chili, cheese, all that right on top of the fry. So very massive gourmet fry. All you have to do is join the conversation. You can talk. You can throw topics about what characters you want to see Caesar draw. What would be cool. You can ask Christian about the Hellboys that are back there on his shelf. Or about you can talk Funko with Daniel. Just drop a comment and you're entered.
Ask Christian what to draw. He's got some awesome art.
Hey, thank you.
I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
Christian's crazy with his art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this like it's all digital, right? Or a lot of it's digital?
I'm all lately. Yeah, I'm all digital. But I have a background in sculpting, drawing, painting. I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah,
I'm gonna be messaging you, going, "Hey, help me out with my digital work."
Hey, yeah,
Awesome,
dude. I teach at Art Center, and then there you go. There's my-
Oh! I was trying to go to the art center. But
Yeah,
they
I
told me
teach
no.
there.
They told me no. I was like, okay.
Oh man, I know it's tough, dude. I didn't even. It's crazy because I didn't even go there as a student. So, but now.
Or I
teaching
think I
there.
needed to work on my portfolio.
Yeah,
And I never got time to it. I'm like, whatever.
they have a really low acceptance rate. I know that much, so it's difficult. But
I know Christian now. Get me in
Yeah.
there.
I think Christian's gonna block you. You're like, you just follow me.
it's cool. I'll vouch. Yeah, no, you're good.
Oh, so you two got to connect for sure.
Definitely.
All right, let's jump.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Let's jump into our next topic. It's 2 episodes in right now, and it's the new Marvel series on Disney Plus. Let's go ahead and talk about Loki. Now, Loki is the third of the Marvel series, right, to come out, because we had WandaVision, then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now we have Loki. 2 episodes in. Give me your impressions, guys.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. I think a lot of people expected this to be like the Loki that we saw in Ragnarok and kind of the evolved Loki. A lot of people didn't realize that this would be the guy like a day after the Hulk smashed him into Stark Tower. So he's still kind of fresh off the beating he got and being a villain. So he's I guess then he got a chance with Owen Wilson to watch Ragnarok and Endgame, so he could get caught up like we are. But I mean, it's really, there's a lot of scenes where they're sitting and talking and kind of philosophizing and everything, but it's still interesting. Like even when they're just sitting and talking, it's interesting. So I'm really getting a kick out of the series. I do have a few predictions I'll go ahead and throw out at the end there, but yeah, I think it's going really well, and I'm looking forward to the next 4.
Awesome.
Yep.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I love it, man. I'm super. I think we're only 2 episodes in, but I think this is already shaping up to be my favorite of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus. I loved WandaVision, loved it. I know a lot of people, it was kind of back and forth with that, but from the beginning, I loved WandaVision. Falcon and Winter Soldier was good. I think that was mainline MCU, what you would expect, an MCU TV show to be like. But just like WandaVision, you just don't where are we going? You know what I mean? Where are we going with this? Tom Hiddleston basically carried the majority of the first episode on his back, but like what you were saying, the dialogue, the back and forth between Mobius and Loki, excellent. I love it. I really like the direction that the show's going. I find myself on the edge of the seat. And I watch it at midnight, I'm my girlfriend and I stay up so we can see it. So, because we can't wait till the next day. Yeah, I'm super into it. Yeah.
How about you, Caesar? Have you had a chance?
Oh yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't watch the trailer before, but for some reason I wasn't super excited about it. I was like, Loki. Okay, I like the character, but I'm not super into him. And then I watched the first episode and was like, oh, this is really good. Like Christian was saying, the Mobius and him interacting, where he's like, I'll burn this whole place down, and Mobius is like, start with my office. Some good banter right there.
Mm-hmm.
The second episode was really good, but I think there's a red herring somewhere. They want you to think it's this, but I think it's going to be something else. So I think they're I don't want to spoil anything, but I think they're leading you in a different way, and then at the end it's oh, this is what it was. So
yeah,
agreed. Yeah, and being a show about the God of Lies, I think we're going to see some twists and turns. I got to echo everything that everybody said. I really love the banter and the almost buddy cop feel of Loki and Mobius. I'm a big Owen Wilson fan.
Yes.
The Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, all that ridiculousness. So to see him come back, I was already yeah, let's get Owen Wilson in there.
Yeah.
But he fits so perfect, and I love the it's almost like the show's in a bubble, because the Marvel U and everything is going by without it. They're in their own little bubble where
literally
and the guy didn't even know what a fish was, and he's like, I'll gut you like a fish. And he's like, what's a fish? You're like, I loved that. I love that Loki is the only well-known character that we know from there. We don't know Mobius. We don't know his boss. We don't know the guards. We definitely don't know the guy who had all the Infinity Stones. But we just get to learn from it and build from it. And we got some emotional moments when Loki's looking at the report for Ragnarok. Which I thought was super, super cool. Again, I don't want to spoiler because it did just come out. But to me, I got to say the same thing. It's shaping up to be my favorite of them. Falcon and the Winter Soldier definitely felt like it was just in the same vein as Captain America movies and Avengers and whatnot. It felt like an extension of the MCU. WandaVision was very out there, but in a great way. This is its own thing, and I don't know how Disney Plus keeps doing it. I don't know how they keep giving us something that feels so original. Because same thing when I saw the Loki, when I knew Loki was coming out, and I was like, I like Loki, but what are you gonna do for a whole show?
Thank you. Yeah.
But oh boy, they are giving us a great show.
And we're gonna get good memes. We've been getting good memes so far. I'm like, oh, this meme. When Loki's like, well, how do you know? How did you get all this footage? He's like, well, I have all the Marvel Universe, like DVD. I'm like, that's a good meme.
And if you're getting good memes, you know you're doing something
You're
right.
doing something
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and throw some speculation out there. What do we think? What do we think the end game is here? What do we think is going to happen with this Loki series?
Well, everyone thinks it's going to tie into Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. I don't know. It's just WandaVision. We had 1,000 theories. Everything meant something.
Mephisto everywhere.
Yeah.
Quicksilver, and then it didn't. So I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I'm hoping it leads into that. But honestly, I don't think we haven't seen the main villain yet, or we've seen them and we don't think they're a villain right now.
Right. It's gonna be Vince Vaughn. He's gonna
Oh.
make the cameo. It's gonna be like buddy.
Him and John Favreau just coming out of nowhere, like, swingers. Like, oh shit, it was
I'm
them.
wondering, I don't know if you guys noticed too, but like at the TVA, and actually even just most of the first 2 episodes, the color palette of the whole show is very muted.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the episode 2 again yesterday just to check. Even when they went to Pompeii, it's still kind of just toned down. So I'm wondering as we go along, if as the timeline starts to come apart, maybe we get some more brighter colors. Maybe that's some kind of metaphor, some meaning. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think Lady Loki's not who we think not what we think she is.
Yeah, it's like a red herring right there.
So it's all exciting. I'm excited to see how it all turns out, and maybe we'll come back next month. We'll talk about how blown away we were by the finale.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
I mean, are we gonna talk about it? Because like you said,
Let's go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert for everybody watching. If you haven't seen it, I guess. So my knee-jerk reaction was Enchantress when that was revealed. I was just, it's Enchantress, like so quickly. But that's because like my knowledge of like the whole like Thor Loki stuff is like older. I'm not caught up with like the recent stuff going on, so I didn't know about like Lady Loki or anything. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a specific choice to cast somebody blonde, or I don't know. Maybe not. But
it was an odd casting choice, I think, because in the comics, Lady Loki is a dark-haired,
Right.
woman. So again, that could fall into the whole red herring thing because right away everybody's saying Lady Loki. But what if it is Enchantress? What if it is somebody else that's powerful enough to pull this off? Because she said this isn't about you.
yes.
So by saying that, if she's Lady Loki, she's saying this isn't about me either.
Yeah.
So I think she said, "Don't call me Loki." Yeah, you're right. So maybe it's Mephisto.
Again? It could be.
Someday.
Yeah.
Someday it's gonna be the devil.
Where's the devil at?
That's what we want to see. We sound horrible and morbid.
Well, not
If
just
you're
us,
watching
but
this,
everyone on the internet. Where's the
Oh,
devil?
absolutely. That's what we want to know. Let us know what you're thinking. Are you thinking Mephisto? Are you thinking, Enchantress? Is Lady Loki Lady Loki? Is it going to be Mobius? Because, here's this, completely likable guy. Do you just flip the whole script on its head and say, like, he's Mephisto? And maybe we can cause a whole thing.
Is Miss Minutes Mephisto?
I love the Miss Minutes part we saw
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
That we saw with when he's like, "Are you alive or are you recording?" Well, I'm a little bit of both.
It's
What
a SWAT
the
matter.
hell? What is wrong with this place?
Yeah.
But just go ahead and drop it in the chat. And if you're watching it live, if you're watching the recorded version of this, let us know. Let us know even what you thought about Loki so far. We're only 2 episodes in. It comes out every Wednesday, Disney Plus. And there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to talk about. But so far, Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, they're just killing it. Absolutely killing it. Absolutely, yeah. So I don't hear very many naysayers right now. So let's see what happens. Because with WandaVision, it was like, that looks like trash. That looks like
Yeah.
garbage. And then once you dive into it, you're like, this is really, really good. Like they really took their time and made all this weave in, and it was perfect,
So
you
good.
know.
Yeah.
Right. So let us know. Drop a comment. Let us know. You have until Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then I'll just jump on, go live, and I'll tell you who won. One person will win the Pastrami Nation combo. One will win the chicken knitter fries. Both are courtesy of Apollo Burger in Victorville. If you haven't tried them, go check them out. They're right there on 7th Street. I know Caesar has had to have tried them. He's because
Very nice.
maybe Daniel. Have you tried them yet, Daniel?
Oh yeah.
All
the,
right.
Pastrami Nation burger is amazing.
It is. Yeah, yeah. And Christian, we got to get you out here to try it.
I got it. I know. I was up there not too long ago. My girlfriend's family's all up there, so next time definitely stopping by.
Oh yeah, we'll just have a quick impromptu Pastrami Nation powwow.
Yeah, it'll be good.
We'll make sure.
All right. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
with your Adam West Hellboy picture. Like,
I'll see what I can do with that one.
all right. Well, we have reached the end of our episode today, but I do want to. I've been watching the viewer count, and it's been steady. So thank you for everybody who's been tuning in. Thank you to Caesar for joining us today. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you to Daniel and to Christian, for being for being awesome, for being here. And make sure you visit pastramination.com for news, reviews, and more. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. And if you prefer to listen to your podcast, we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there. So signing off, this is Nolan Smith of Pastrami Nation. I hope everybody has a great night. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.